Now, one of the mounds that Wilson and Blackett have written about is a mound at a place called Unesco Bull, not far from here. And this is it here. It's a naturally occurring hill, but on top of it, they claim that there's an additional piece of earth put on there, and they've actually had ground penetration radar testing done on this hill. They've also had deep metal detection done on this hill. So this is a huge earth mound. So this is Alan in 2005 with the ground penetration radar equipment. Now, based on the tests that they did in 2005, they did deep metal detection, which I'm going to speak about in a second, and they did ground penetration radar testing, and also comparing this mound with other mounds that have got things inside them. This is what Wilson and Blackett claim is inside. Like I say, it's not far from here. He reckons there's an excavated chamber with 5 drainage shafts coming off the north side of the hill, and these keep this area dry, take all the water off. And he reckons there's an excavated tunnel into the side. This is a cross-section of one of the drainage sumps, so they've got special stones in which prevent any sort of weeds growing around there, so that the sump can allow water to flow through it. This is a photograph of one of the sumps, which you used to be able to see on Google Earth. You can't see them anymore for some reason now. And now this is Alan Hassel, who did the metal detection for them in 2005. And again, don't believe anything anyone tells you. Try and find it out yourself. And I've interviewed Alan Hassel, who's an independent researcher. I should have recorded the telephone call, but I didn't. I spoke to him for about 2 hours, and this is from my notes of speaking to him. He said that he used a Pulse Star 2 metal detector. These metal detectors, they're a metre square. The coil is huge. You stand in the middle of the coil, and you've got like a box of electronics. They're 2,000–3,000 pound each. So that's the metal detector that he used, which will go down 20–30 feet. He marked out a 30 to 40 yard square on top of the hill. He scanned the land in 1 metre wide strips, horizontally and vertically. After 45 minutes, he hit a huge target. The device went off the scale. By scanning vertically and horizontally, he determined the target was approximately 2 foot by 4 foot non-ferrous metal. He then used ground penetrating radar. Well, he didn't. Wilson and Blackett did, but he witnessed the ground penetrating radar picked up 2 of the drainage tunnels. He also confirmed that the farmers didn't come to witness the find. Okay. Now, I'm not sure what's in there, but I'm pretty sure that some of this archaeology is there, and I think there's probably something inside the hill. But I have no clue what's in there. Wilson and Blackett claim, and in order to understand why they think this, they claim that it's the Ark of the Covenant. Now, I don't know that. The Ark of the Covenant, for those who don't know, is the box which Moses had built in round about 1400 BC, in which to house the 10 Commandments, which were written on stone, 2 tablets of stone, given to Moses by God. I have no idea that this artifact is inside of that hill, but I think there is something in the side of that hill. Now, if this was inside of that hill, I think it's worth digging the hill up. Because as you might know, I'm into UFOs, and I suspect that Moses, or the person who was Moses, because some people say Moses was a title, I suspect that that event on Mount Sinai did happen, and something happened there, and some law was given to Moses to give to the people, but I don't think that word was the God of the universe. I think there's an intermediary going on here. I think it was a God, not God, but a God. That's just my opinion. I don't want to offend anyone who is a Christian, right, or a Muslim or a Jew, right? But just my opinion, I think that there are advanced beings who've been on this planet before us and who possibly had a hand in making us, right? And I think that event on Mount Sinai was extremely important. So whatever's inside here is evidence of that. Who wouldn't want to see that? But as I say, I'm not convinced the Ark of the Covenant is there, but I think it's worth excavating it just to see what is there. Now, when I spoke to Wilson and Blackett about this, they said that there was kind of a stalemate between the farmers who own this land, and they weren't allowing them back on the land. They just kind of saw them as pests, really. So I was interested to go down and speak to the farmers and find out why they weren't wanting to have some tests done on this area. And now you've suspected that that was there since when? The sort of mid-80s?
I got a photograph from my colleague there in 82.
I'm at a village called Unesco Bull in South Wales, and behind me is a hill on top of which is a man-made mound. According to Alan Wilson, the Ark of the Covenant is buried inside the man-made part of this hill behind me. And he has in the past tried to get this hill dug up. He's approached the Welsh authorities, he's approached the farmers. The farmers have been talked out of having any excavation done. So I'm intrigued to speak to the owners of the land, a farm just a few minutes down the road here. So I'm going to knock on the door. So I spoke to the two farmers, two brothers. I had about a 25-minute conversation with them, and then I've recorded my recollection of that conversation. It was quite a delicate negotiation. I asked if I could go on the land to take some photographs, and straight away they said no. Now, they said that they weren't convinced that he'd actually found anything, and they said that he hadn't actually shown them any concrete results that there was anything there, so therefore they weren't prepared to have their land dug up based on what they thought was nothing. But they then did say that having said that, they didn't go up there and see what he was doing. They didn't show much interest. So I've persuaded them to at least have an independent person come on the land and do another test, and if they do find something there and they can demonstrate it to them, they would possibly then consider having the land excavated. So that's October 2011. I managed to get a verbal agreement off them for me to get an independent person and do some more tests, and then possibly have some investigation done after that. The reason why I'm telling you this is because so many people ask me, what's happening with that hill in Unesco Bull, Richard? When are you going to dig it up? And I'm just illustrating to you that I have tried my best to help Wilson and Blackett with this. Okay? Now, so what I did, I put that verbal agreement in writing, and just to confirm what was agreed, that they were agreeing for me to get an independent person to come on their land. Right, so I actually put an appeal out on the TV show for anyone who's got the type of equipment that can test that land, and I got a reply from a company called Mack International Limited, and they do testing for Second World War bombs. Now the guy was called John Morrison, and I agreed with him that we would go to Unesco Bull on Saturday the 14th of April 2012, and I sent the farmers a letter explaining this, and I sent them company literature from Mack International Limited explaining to the farmers that they would get a full report from this land scanning, and then and it wouldn't cost them anything, and there would be no disruption to their land. So I informed the farmers that we were going to be there on the 14th of April 2012. After I sent that letter, I got a phone call from them saying, hang on, we want to go through a solicitor with all this. We're not quite happy about this. So I went away, I spoke to Wilson and Blackett, and we said, fine, that's not a problem. We will even pay your solicitor's fee to get an agreement drawn up that we can come on the land and do this scanning. So I then followed that up in writing, saying that we were prepared to pay their solicitors' fees, that we were quite happy for them to have some contract in place before we go on the land. I then reminded them of that fact on the 10th of May, and I rang them several times throughout 2012 saying, well, have you appointed a solicitor? Can we speak to your solicitor? Or have you got an agreement? And they either didn't come to the phone, this is Alan Edwards, the farmer, or he just didn't seem interested. He hadn't appointed a solicitor. So I kept ringing, he hadn't appointed a solicitor. So the final throw of the dice in April last year, I went there, and I've just recorded this conversation. I left the camera running in the car, went to the farmhouse, and I'm just showing you this to show you the intransigence of these farmers, because I don't understand it. That's Alan Edwards' house. Hello, can I speak to Alan, please?
Yeah. Who was it, sorry?
My name's Richard Hall. I think you might know who I am. It's I was here about 18 months ago, just asking about the twin e-cog and possibly getting it metal detected and scanned. Yeah. I've written him a few letters. But the last one was in April last year, April 2012. Yeah. I think the last time I spoke to him, he said you were thinking of going to a solicitor just to get an agreement.
We haven't done anything about it. We haven't done anything about it.
Haven't done anything about it.
No, I don't know whether he's here actually, because they're lambing at the minute.
Oh, right, okay.
But, hang on a minute. No, he's still at working, sorry.
All right, okay.
We'll be back until 8 o'clock-ish.
All right, 8 o'clock, okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know whether you're aware of the claim, because the claim is that there's a huge treasure there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I mean, do you know why he wouldn't just want to allow a land scan? Has he said why, or?
Has Alan said why?
Yeah.
No, I don't. No. At the moment, I don't think they're really interested.
They're not interested. No. Okay. Do you think that's because they don't believe the claim, or someone said something to them, or
they don't believe the claim?
They don't believe it. Have you seen any of the? Because I've produced several TV shows covering the history of it.
Seen those.
You've seen them, yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So that wouldn't be enough to allow us on the land and just have a scan.
No.
Right. No. Okay. All right. So because he did say that he would if he was going to do something, he would need to get a solicitor to draft up an agreement. We agreed to pay for that. Yeah. But you still wouldn't be interested.
Well, he hasn't mentioned it lately. No.
He hasn't mentioned it.
No.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, thanks for your help. Okay. Thank you. Bye bye now. I didn't speak to Alan Edwards, but I spoke to his wife, and it's just the same as last time. They're just not interested at all. Yeah, right. Home Jeeves. So I've given up on them, and if anyone else wants to, well, I don't know how you might find their contact details. Right. Okay. Can anyone explain it? Alan thinks that they've been got at. Someone said something to them. Am I bonkers for wanting to dig that hill up?